Hi, Barbara. Thank you for your essays. Now we're going to have a look at task 1 here, which is about museum visitors. Okay, let me have a look at what we have here. All right. So the graph discloses the yearly number of visitors to the following entertainment sites, namely the National Gallery, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and the British Museum. All right. Okay. The British Museum is capitalized here, so please make sure that you have the same when you transcribe them. And another thing that I could suggest here, this is the following. Despite this sentence being a very good attempt at an introductory sentence in task 1, it is a bit wordy. You can say to such entertainment sites as the National Gallery, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and the British Museum. The way you have it here is a bit excessive. During the period of this to that, you can also say between 2007 and 2012, the rate of excursionists, nice word, fluctuated between the three institutions. At 2000, with the years, we always use in. In 2007, we had, no, you don't say we had, because you are not the museum, so please say there were approximately this many visitors, and this number increased. Okay, wait a second, which museums do you mean? Oh, you mean in 2007. Okay, when you say this, it is not clear what you mean, because I don't understand where exactly there were 33 million visitors, and it's million, not millions. So you really have to contrast. So if you say 2007 altogether as a sum, I'm not sure that this is relevant. This sentence is, I dare say, inaccurate and confusing. So please make sure that you do not write confusing data commentaries. Analyzing separately each museum, they presented individual patterns of change over the years. Okay, you can say taking the statistics for each museum separately, there were individual patterns of change over the years. Firstly, the National Gallery showed a constant rise in the number of yearly visitors, increasing, not enhancing. To enhance means to increase the quality. Increasing from nearly the adverb, not the preposition near, from nearly 7 million. Okay, so let's agree everywhere where you have millions, we have to say million. Yeah, this is the way we say it in English. That's the convention. And not over 15 million in 2012. Secondly, Victoria and Albert Museum, capitalized, was the most popular in 2007, which gradually reduced. The year reduced, which what reduced? It's not really clear what you mean by reduced, because the museum cannot reduce. Popularity can reduce, but you don't have the word popularity, so you will need to rephrase this to be able to say gradually reduced, or say it differently. Reaching nearly 7 million visitors in 2010 to partially recover afterwards. I understand what you mean, but you really have to be more specific. Okay, so you speak about the fluctuation starting at 15, dropped to 7, and partially recovered its popularity afterwards. Okay. Thirdly, the British Museum revealed a decrease in visitors from 2, and after that an enhanced to approximately 14 million visitors. Not enhanced, but let's say a surge as a sharp rise. Okay. You are trying to Victoria and Albert in 2008. British Museum is green, 2008. To 2012. Okay. You cannot, I wouldn't say there's a decrease. No, if I look at the British Museum, in 2008, it's this, 2010, it's this, 2007, though, oh, there was less, and then more. Okay. Okay. In conclusion, over a 5-year period, the National Gallery presented the steadiest growth. In what? In the number of visitors, perhaps, moving from the least visited position to first place. Along with that, the Victoria and Albert Museum that occupied the top rank descended to the third position in. Okay, I like your conclusion. I must say, this is a great conclusion. However, this body paragraph is a bit confusing. I'm not sure I always understand why we have more specific positions examined for certain museums and a very brief overview for the British Museum. So perhaps you could make all 3 museum coverages like this, or all 3 detailed. But again, you shouldn't have too much detail because you should write no more than 200 words at best, and you should report the main features. So my advice is make sure that you carefully select what you need to overview. Select only the most important, the minimums, the maximums, and generalize data. Do not pinpoint exact values. For exact values, I can actually look on the graph. From the text, I have to understand the main trends. So it's a bit difficult. Next, make sure that you work on your vocabulary and grammar. You really need to do that because you have quite a number of errors in both vocabulary and grammar use, both in range and in accuracy, especially in accuracy. As for task achievement, yes, you're trying to answer the question, but I told you try to choose the main features appropriately and make sure that you do not give in unnecessary detail. As for coherence and cohesion, again, this paragraph suffered the most from lack of coherence. As for the rest, it was rather easy to understand, though I can see you used cohesive devices for order appropriately. So yeah, they are used well, but there is a lot of space to improve. Now let's have a look at your second essay. In the modern world, global campaigns by huge multi-international, we say either multinational or just international enterprises are becoming increasingly frequent. Okay. While foreign advertisement is sometimes prejudicial for local companies, it is crucial for the globalization process and for shortening distances and for reducing distances, let's say. Okay, nice idea. Below we'll approach both points of view, but what is your idea? It says discuss both views and then give your opinion. In the introduction, you really have to announce your opinion. By the way, if you're not sure how to structure an essay, our online course is really great at explaining how to do that, giving you space to practice, and fixing the errors that you might make in a very short time. So you might want to have a look at that. Please explore the link at the end of my email. So try not to use we. You could say below the essay. Below, I will discuss both points of view, yet personally, I am of the opinion that this, and that should happen, let's say, and then you present your personal position. Oh, how many paragraphs do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Way too many paragraphs. Please focus on having 4 paragraphs, at best 5. If you have more, you might be separating, you might be splitting up important chunks of information, and that might not be a very nice idea. Firstly, abroad market campaigns, no, foreign market campaigns, or market campaigns organized abroad can endanger local merchants and even a broader view, and in a broader view, even local culture. Okay, word order. Nowadays, several brands have become worldwide famous and they transformed their initial identity in global symbols. I wouldn't use and here, perhaps as they transformed. In other words, some brands as Coke and McDonald's are so widely known and consumed that it's hard to trace back their origin. Well, they did originate in United States, didn't they? I wouldn't state this because this is quite obvious. I mean, they originated in the United States, but now they have become cosmopolitan as they can be found in virtually any country of the world, except perhaps North Korea. National soft drinks or fast food commerce, for example, would struggle to attract and conquer clients against these huge international enterprises. You say would, but do they actually? Perhaps you could use the example of your own home country, or maybe of a country that is actually struggling with this. You're being very tentative and not very convincing. You really have to build your argument and supporting ideas and examples in a way that would be convincing, because you say, maybe it's like that, but I'm not sure, maybe. So you can't say this maybe in the essay. Secondly, we can see the progressive invasion of this known logos as a part of the current vocabulary. For instance, one would name a telephone as an iPhone and a coffee as a Starbucks, as if they were synonymous terms. Okay, beautiful use of complex vocabulary. However, this is a very short paragraph, very, very short paragraph. So I would suggest you add this paragraph here. And if you say secondly, probably first would be appropriate here. First, nowadays, several brands have become worldwide and blah, 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 and this happens. Secondly, this is what happens. One would call a telephone simply as an iPhone and a coffee as a Starbucks, as if they were synonymous. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I wouldn't say, I'm not sure that people actually say, I need to buy an iPhone, and they simply mean a telephone. So in a way, I do understand that you refer to brand names becoming common names, but I'm not sure that this replacement actually works 100%. So this is what I have to say. Nevertheless, international products and advertisements represent an important tool to connect different cultures and societies. They are essential to augment the economy and promote globalization. Okay. Therefore, traveling to the other side of the world becomes easier when you know that you will find familiar products that you're used to wear and eat wherever you go. Okay. If you say traveling to another side of the world becomes easier, what I first think of is aviation, right? Like passenger aviation, not this. You could say that you can travel to the other side, to another side of the world, and rest assured that wherever you go, you will find familiar products that you're used to wear and eat. Okay. I like the idea. This is a great idea. And perhaps you should connect this paragraph, or no, perhaps I should put it here. Furthermore, apart from this cultural aspect, international campaigns allow industry to increase their market share, enhance sales, and augment profits. You used augment once. Try not to use the same good word, even though it's a great word. Make sure that you use synonyms to show that you have a range of vocabulary. To spread products overseas, strengthen economies through This sentence is a fragment. I'm not sure what you mean. Perhaps you mean and augment profits by spreading products overseas, or by distributing or selling, strengthening the economy. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Undo, undo, undo. Can I undo? Undo, undo, and undo, and undo again. Um, Spreading products overseas, or selling products overseas, strengthens the economies through stronger commercial relationships between different countries and continents. Now I understand. So it was a grammar issue that got in the way. Okay, that's a great idea. So you could have this paragraph like this and this paragraph like that. I told you what I think about the actual replacement of concepts here. I like the way you started. I really like the style of your discourse, but I'm not sure this fact actually exists 100%. Okay, uh, so the positives versus the negatives versus the positives is a great idea. In conclusion, despite the potential to weakening local businesses, international advertisement or advertising is necessary. I firmly believe that local brands have an essential role in shaping our current society and way of thinking. Why is this here? Global. Yes, in my opinion, this is an economic feature we cannot avoid, and favorable arguments surpass the negative ones. And this is why, perhaps you might say, and this is why favorable arguments surpass negative ones. Okay, great ideas, great depth of analysis I see in what you write, but make sure that you take care of your grammar and vocabulary. You have a lot of misuses of words and language. You need to work on your grammar. You need to work on your coherence and paragraph structure. And I'm sure that our online course can help you. Nevertheless, you have a very good understanding of the topic. Perfect understanding of the topic. Just make sure that your great ideas are presented in the best possible way. So have a look at the link at the end of my email, explore the offer that we have for our online course, and use the code that I'm trying to offer. All the best of luck, and I'm hopeful that our feedback is going to help you, and I'm sure that you will do really well with just a bit of help.